We have quite a bit of work to do here in the Evo trunk. We got to make a big panel right here for our fuse boxes, our relays, all that kind of jazz. And we also got to get this battery hooked back up. It's been unhooked for quite a while. And so let's get to it and see if we can make this panel look nice. What's up, y'all? Welcome back. If you're new here, welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. Like I said, working on the trunk, got to get some things figured out. We got some fuse boxes, some relays, some things for the stereo system, all that kind of stuff that has to go in here. And so I want to make a nice little, I guess you would call it a dress-up panel, false floor, something along those lines to fit in here in the spare tire well to hold everything and house everything. I'm calling it a false floor because there'll be a floor here, but then there'll be a floor above it. So we're going to have like this top part covered, everything will look normal, and then down in here we'll have all of our electronics and that kind of stuff. So excited to get started on this. So like I said, let's get to it. I got some foam, some things. I'll show you what we're going to do, but I think I have a good idea of how to do this. So yeah. Here we go. If you're just joining, I made this thing a long time ago. This is just spray foam. I put aluminum foil in the spare tire well. We made this, and it worked great for holding the battery in place and all that, but you can't really mount anything to this, and it looks a little funny. You know, it looks quite strange, not really clean, but they got the job done, so now we need to move on to something else and be able to mount things to it and all that, because this is just not going to work anymore. And so I picked up some of this foam, which is like project foam. They make dioramas and stuff like that out of it for like floor bases and things. They use it for a bunch of different stuff, but this is 1 inch thick. I got a couple of those, and I'm going to try to cut out a shape in the trunk here to be able to fit this down into it, and then we're going to mount a piece of PVC sheet on top of that to be able to drill things into it, mount things and all that, and it'll be a lot sturdier, I think, in my head anyway, but we'll find out about that. But first off, I got to get in here and make a stencil, and we'll figure out how this is going to go, and then we can cut out the foam. And boom, just like that, we got our template cut out. I used some poster boards, some like big sheets of paper, and just did it that way. It was large enough for me to fit in there all in one panel. We got everything cut out how I think I want it. Obviously, this is not where it's going to go, but I'm just trying to put it all on there to get an idea. Yeah, we got plenty of space to put everything. We got tons of room up here. This could be done a lot better, all that. So there's plenty of space to put everything. So now move on to the foam. So I cut out a majority of the shape from the foam with a knife. Then about halfway through, I was like, this is not going to work. This knife is not working. My blade is not long enough. It's not getting like all the way through the foam, so it's taking me forever. So I went and got this. As you can see, I've already been trying it out, but I got this hot knife. This thing is going to be the bee's knees. It's going to make it so much easier to cut this foam. I'm going to go ahead and cut out the first layer of the foam, and then once I get that cut out, I'll show you guys how we did it, and I'll expand on this hot knife and how good it is to use on this foam. Heck yes, that works so good. We had to do a little bit more trimming per my template, but once this gets higher, we got to expand it out anyway, so we had to make it a little bit smaller for this first layer to get it to fit in there. And now let me show you the bottom of this thing, because if you notice here, there's a little hump where the spare tire went, right in the middle there. You can kind of see it, it's kind of dark, but that little hump right there. So in using that hot knife, I was able to notch out the bottom of this as that hump, so it sits on there now flush and flat. Everything is good. It doesn't rock around or move, nothing like that. And so now we can take that hot knife, cut out the second layer of foam, and just keep making our floor. I'm only going to do 2 of these, so it's going to be 2 inches tall with the foam, and then our PVC, which it has a grain on one side and it's flat on the other. This will be the top part of it. I don't want that grain showing, so we'll use the flat part. But this is only 3/8 inches thick, so we'll have about 2 3/8 inches tall for the whole structure. Okay, I'm going to take this and flip it over. We'll lay it on the panel. I'm going to trace it out, and just like that, we have a template. Now, check out how cool this hot knife is. I'm gonna like zoom you guys in probably, that way you can see it a little bit, but this thing is so cool. I am throwing on my respirator just because the smoke coming off of this stuff, I'm not really sure, you know, I don't wanna risk it. So, respirator, hot knife, here we go. Basically, you just turn it up. Here's the temperature knob. I got it set on about, I'm gonna put it on 4, and then you just push the button, a little light comes on, and you wait a second. This has stuff on it already, so it'll start to smoke, but you just wait for like 30 seconds to a minute, and the heat will come on, it'll get hot, and then you're good to go. Check that out. That is so cool. I love this thing. I gotta figure out some more projects to do just to use this thing, because this is awesome. Oh yeah. So now we'll go through, and I'm gonna cut it along the line here. And then we can go in and do the fine details after that. Oh, that's satisfying. Haha, perfect. Now, we got this thing cut out. I'm kind of like roughly laying in things again, but the top panel, I'm thinking about doing a little bit different and running it like along the back of the battery as well to kind of like just do some extra holding in. I mean, we got this bracket right here that goes over the battery and holds it in place. It mounts right here, but still just for like aesthetics, I kind of want it to look like a full piece here, and the battery just kind of sits down into it. So I'm gonna go and measure some things and get it laid out onto the PVC sheet, and we can go from there, but this is looking really, really good. Well, after hours of cutting, I realized that I made a wrong cut on the panel, so I gotta start over. So I'm gonna start over and try working on a new template. I tried to eyeball something on the template and it obviously didn't work out. So yeah, I'm gonna make a new template, one that's actually for the top panel and not the foam panels. I'm just gonna make a new one for that. So yeah, new panel. Okay, new template is down. I did not make the cut for the battery because I wanted to get it in there and fitted before I did that, because last time that's where I kind of messed up, and along with the hole. I did the hole first this time, got it centered up in there, and then I cut it all out. This takes forever with my little Dremel I have. I'm using a jigsaw as well, but it's kind of hard to well, it's harder to control the Dremel than it is the jigsaw, but I just gotta take my time with it and kind of move along as slow as I can, but also trying to get it cut out this month. So it's a little bit too dark outside now to keep cutting on this because I don't want to mess it up, because I got it in there pretty well right now. The only thing I need to trim is right along this area right here, and there's a little bit of a bump right here. But I've got it pretty much trimmed out. It's just minuscule stuff right now, but once this is in there, then I can put the battery mark on there and then cut that part out, and we should be good to go to start mounting some things. But yeah, I'll jump into this again tomorrow when we have some daylight. Okay, hours and hours later. If I had better tools to do this stuff with, like a table saw, a table router, something like that, it would be a lot easier, but we finally narrowed it down enough to get it in there, and this is what it looks like. Panel is in, battery is in, we just gotta lock it down. I got everything cut out here for the ground to go in. We sanded that part down, so we got bare metal again, and then now all we gotta do is lay out what we wanna do on this board here, which seems like it's taken forever to get there, but it's in there now, so let's start laying this thing out. I think I have everything laid out how I want it. I did some testing with the wiring. Got the fuse box down here, the external fuse box, and then we got the circuit breaker to the whole car. Up here, I do have another circuit breaker that is going to the stereo, so I might be able to put that. Let me go get that real fast, actually. So typically with a stereo, you run a short little power wire off of the battery, and then you run it into a fuse, which most of the time looks like this. So I wanted to ditch that idea, and we're gonna run it through one of these circuit breakers right here, and yeah, should look pretty cool in there. I have to rewire our fuel pump relay right here. I did cut that, and we're gonna run it through a 2-prong plug like this. This can handle the amperage from the fuel pump and all that. I talked to Radium, they said it runs about 90 amps. So this can handle that. 10 gauge wire, same size wire as their relay wiring harness for the hard wiring of that. So wire this into this and wire it to the relay, and we'll have a disconnect right here to be able to remove that if we have to, because we didn't have it that way before, and now I had to now I had to cut it out of there. So we'll do it this way, so that way if we ever have to do this again, take it in and out, whatever we got to do, we can have a connection there and be able to do that. So yeah, gonna do some more wiring. I'll jump back whenever we have some more progress, but everything's coming along. I know this video is probably all over the place, but trying to get this super tedious stuff done, which it seems like I do that a lot of tedious work, but is what it is. Okay, now I should be able to release this thing. So whenever I want to get this panel off of here again, I made the hole a little bit bigger. The smaller end of the plug is on this side, so I can pull it out and it goes over that plug, and I can unplug the relay right here. I'm gonna mount the relay back here on this little part of the framing here. It's a good spot for it. It's out of the way, all that kind of stuff, and then this thing can lay right here next to the seat and all that, and we should be golden. All right, it might not look like much, but I've got everything that I can ran. I'm still waiting on some supplies to begin running the wiring and stuff like that for the amps up in this area. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. We got our RCA cables for the stereo, all that kind of stuff. We're gonna do brand new speaker wire. I upped the gauge on this, so it'll be a little bit thicker. It's all Stinger wire, but we gotta get it through the doors and all that, back to the back of the car. I'm gonna try to get all the wiring into this thing so I can at least get the carpet back in here. I am super excited to put the carpet back in this car after I don't even know how long. I would tell you, but it's been like over 2 years. So excited to see it back in the car, get everything laid into here, and we should be moving right along on getting this interior back together. I am going to measure out some new SoundSkin stuff to add some more material to the inside of the car because we ran out from what I had before, and we need to add just a little bit more, and we got to cover the doors as well in the front. So I'm going to go ahead and get this stuff out, cut out what I need, and then we can install it. Okay, so I went ahead and got it installed. I had a piece right here that I wanted to put in the footwell. We got it on the side of the trans tunnel. We got the shifter base in there. Everything is now where I want it to be. I still got to mount this piece right here. I'm going to pull these e-brake cables back up out of here so I can get up under it. But that's the final piece, I think, of SoundSkin on the interior of the car in this region. We do have the door panels left to do, but we got plenty of that to use. So I'm going to finish fixing this right here, and then we'll move on to the door panels. Whew, okay, so it's been a little while, and I know it doesn't look like much, but we've got quite a bit done. We've got both sets of speaker wire ran to both doors. We just had to pull that through, tape it to the other wire, pull it through. Got it ran all the way down the door, all the way back into the back. I ran extra because I'm not sure what side I'm going to put the 4-channel amp on, so I made the wire long enough where I could do it on either side. And I rewired some things behind the dash, and now I have my little cable running right into here. It comes through this little hole in the glove box that was already there, and we got it wired up in there, so now all my like engine management tuning kind of stuff is in the glove box and hidden. So that's super cool because I had it just kind of like dangling around on the floor. That was kind of annoying, but got all that taken care of now, and it's nice and tucked away. I know I'm not showing a ton in this process, but it really is just running wire. It's super tedious. It takes a long time, but it's not that interesting. So I'm just trying to show as much as I can, but also not bore you guys to death. Listen, I know this is not going to look like much, but this has been days, and we've got quite a bit done, actually. I really didn't know how to show all this, and it would just be, like I thought would be a boring video, and we just did a bunch of wiring. We got everything ran. We got everything ran back here to go with the amps and everything like that. And this full, like, white panel piece, which I'm pretty proud of, actually. Both doors are sound deadened. Don't look right here. I'm still I'm still working on that. That is for all like the gauges and everything. I'm trying to fix all that and make that not so much of a rat's nest, but that's for a different time. I doubt I even showed that in a video because it's a cluster down there, and it would just be more wiring. And so we've got everything sound deadened, everything in here. I'm probably going to add just a little bit on the sides like I've been talking about before, but aside from that, everything is good to go. Everything is done. I tried every way in the world to get the carpet in this video, but I just couldn't do it. There's still a little bit of wiring left to do for the interior LEDs, all that kind of stuff, and so I just don't want to put the carpet in there yet to get that in there and then have to move it around and do all that and wrestle with that. So I'm going to leave it out for right now. I tried every way in the world to get this thing finished to be able to put the speakers and stuff in. I ordered 3 different things for a subwoofer to go into here. None of them worked. I was trying to do a 10, but I might end up having to do an 8. It's just a tight spot back there, and I don't know that it's going to work how I thought it was going to, so we may have to change that up and do a different thing. But I'm going to go ahead and end this thing off here. This has been, like I said, this has been days, and you got to know when to call it and put up a video, because I haven't done a video in like 2 weeks. We've been dealing with some personal issues with the wife and the pregnancy and all that kind of stuff, and it's just been a little overwhelming, to be honest with you, and a little bit stressful. And so everything should be back to normal now. We're getting things squared away, and so yeah, next time we should, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't get the interior fully back in, everything wired in. We'll do the full stereo stuff. I wanted to do like its own kind of video with that anyway, but yeah, we'll get all that stuff in here, and the interior should be back in this car for the first time in 2 years or more. I don't even know now. But if you guys made it this far in the video, you guys are the MVPs. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one where things should be back to normal, and we should be making some progress that you can actually see and not spending hours and hours and hours and it looks the same as it did when we started. Bye.